I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to PCM23 Lions. This is episode 72. Catalonia is still ongoing, but we're into the classic season, which means there's a lot of one-day races back-to-back or with maybe a day in between through this stretch. And so we are on a World Tour, a simple race here that very flat, very straightforward, and some very fast riders are here. It's their day, probably not ours. But I've got good race day condition for a lot of guys, as many of them are on fitness peaks. It's an opportunity here to get a few riders placed highly. I doubt we're quick enough to compete for the win. Sprints have not been our thing for a long time here, but that doesn't mean we can't do okay. Mason Samuels is here because we have two stage races going on at the same time, and I wanted to give him a break. So he's not at either of those. But there's only so many riders on the team, and we've got to fill out these races. So there's a couple one-day races here that Mason Samuels will be at. But other than that, it's a team full of sprinters or lead-out guys for sprinters. So I'm liking that we've got a fairly good breakdown of the team. Breakaway still has not been caught yet, but they had a really healthy lead, and it's a fairly long stage. But you can see other teams have already formed up a little bit earlier. I'm waiting a little bit later on this one because we're going to have to push pretty hard to get out front. Somehow the peloton has split, but I'm going to go ahead and set up the sprint now. And away we go. Samuels has a 70 flat, so he's not, the worst in those regards. And he is, at max effort, able to get out front. And now that he has gotten us out front, we can back off just a little bit to keep him there a little bit longer. 7K. Still trying to pull back those front five. Okay, I think it's time to get on with max effort. Oof, how technical is this? Not very. There's definitely a few corners. 4K, it's almost time. On to Daniels. .4, we are sprinting even though it's not sprint time, so I never got Kareem's flat benefit, but on to Villiers. And yes, we got lots of riders placed pretty highly, but of course, no surprise that we cannot out-sprint Arnaud Delay. Von Tricht. Philipsen gets 4th. Machete. Vandenberg's up there. Ansa gets 8th. Koish all the way down in 10th. De Villiers was 12th. Not perfect here, but Wout van Aert was 15th. Merlier was 18th. There's a lot of strong sprinters here. That's why I figured we were never going to challenge for the win. But the fact that we were able to get somebody in the top 10, we were able to get somebody in the top 15, and plenty of guys, the whole team in the top 31, they'll pick up a few points at the back end of the grid here. We're at Catalonia. It's stage 3, and this is a way deeper field than you would ever expect to see at this race. This is not a high-profile race. It's not a nothing-profile race. You might see one or two regular team leaders, but this is most everybody's team leader. This is a lot of these teams' second, third best guys here. We didn't bring our A team to this race. 20K to go here. Starting to settle in for the finishing climb a little bit. Well placed so far, but Matoni is kind of our backup guy, not the lead guy. Everybody else have brought their lead guy. It's going to be a really tough challenge for us to get anything substantial out of this race. The time trial alone, we didn't place particularly well, though all three of our potential leaders did okay that day. Today, it's a different day, though. It's a very, very different day. Overall team net race day condition is awful. It's horrendous today. Only 2 riders have a positive race day condition. The only good thing about all of that and how atrocious this race day condition draw is that the leader, Mutoni, has a +5. But he's not going to have any support. 12K to go. The breakaway, not that far ahead, already have dropped a rider. There's some definite high tempo being set here, though. And it's 12K to go. And, you can look and see just how tired Mutoni is. And here go the leaders attacking with 11K. There's nothing we can do. I mean, Mutoni's already half dead. Just pretty much at the base of the climb. This false flat stuff that we've been dealing with here for a little while is brutal. Now, I've got some domestiques that are pretty tired. Let's go ahead and gel up for all of them. De Villiers is going to be taken over in just a second, so we'll gel up for him as well. Barry is going to start to fade, and he was protecting Mutoni, so De Villiers onto the task. So already, leaders go away, but you can see some of them push too hard, and they've all split up already. That's a good thing for us, and they're largely being chased down. But 12K, suddenly 8.5. Fatigue, though, it's still quite high. It is quite high already. Johannes Dalek and Shimway, they need to gel now. I mean, this is bad in terms of the level of support we're going to get here. These two are almost better off riding for themselves at this point. Got riders out the back. Group is shrinking, but it's still 127. And we are having riders drop like flies. Just shows how weak we are compared to the other teams that are here. And that race day condition really not helping anything, but Johannes Dalek, Shimway, can either of them provide any support at this point for Mutoni? Try to get them both up there. Down to 5K. Time to gel. Very little in the tank. We're down to 2 riders left off the front. Lopez and Adria. They both got pulled back in. Both good riders, though. Johannes Dalek is starting to fade, so a Shimway is going to now protect Mutoni. 3K. Backing off just a little bit. We got to try to hang on. Here's a final attack that we cannot respond to. Okay, for now it's just an acceleration. That's a good thing. Down to 57. Johannes Dalek, Shimway both got dropped. 1.6K and out of energy completely. Not a good day. Not a good day. We're going to lose quite a bit of time here with Mutoni. His mountain rating when these guys are all exhausted is allowing him to come forward, but he's not hanging with those front 11. Rodriguez takes the stage ahead of Vingegaard, Gallo, Bermudez, Martinez, Evenepoel. Hopefully we're on the same time as these guys. There was a little acceleration from about 6 or 7 of them in the final 30 meters, and there may have been the tiniest of gaps there that, with my luck, would be given. 20th on the stage. Rough result. They gave gaps everywhere. We were literally alongside Ben Tullett, and he got 4 seconds better off than us. And that tiniest gap just ahead of us was given. Those guys, minute 14, minute 8. And then the breakaways, big gaps. That just spread the field like crazy. Mutoni is 14th, 226 down. Yikes on that part. We're not going to score too many points here. And that wasn't even the toughest stage. It's the one to come. Here's one thing to remember, to keep in mind, and why, even though Mutoni had a +5, I wasn't interested in attacking. His base is a 77. Now, let's compare his base to a, say, Jonas Vingegaard, who is not unique in this field. We saw plenty of riders like him. Pogacar, Ayuso. Here's Ayuso. Let's use somebody who is currently 20th in the standings, right? Not somebody at the top, somebody who is quite a ways down. We'll use them as our example. 81 Mountain. He's already +4 on us. we have a 77. Then we're on extreme difficulty. That's roughly a +4 to every attribute. Roughly. There's the math involved. A lower attribute, his cobble rating was probably only a +3 because it's a 68. But +4 to his mountain rating. Now he's an 85. Then he's got whatever race day condition bonuses that he may have. Maybe he had a negative today because he went down the order. But Rodriguez and Hayter and Arnsman, they probably had a positive race day condition. Regardless, we're talking about a base of an 85. And the field's chock full of those guys. So our 77, with a +5 on it, made an 82. But it was still a few points behind 20 guys around him. Now, I usually can offset that by having team support, by protecting that rider. They go unprotected, my guys go protected. That makes up for a few points. It stretches, it helps the stamina last. It puts us in a better position. Makes things a little bit closer. But Motoni has a 71 base stamina, so he had a +10. Yay! It was still only an 81. Well, let's go back and compare the stamina element. Ayuso, a 77, +4. He's got an 81 before we even throw in his race day condition bonus. So, yes, I could do quite well with these climbs, but it's not my A guy. He doesn't have his A support team. He is an A support team guy. He's got some quality. Motoni is definitely not a pushover. He's not a weak rider. But this is a very deep field with some really good climbers. Lots of them with 80 plus mountain, 80 plus medium mountain. And we just don't have that. Motoni might have a decent mountain rating by itself. But look at the breakdown. Very quickly, if he has to accelerate, it's not happening. Medium mountain's only a 71. Stamina is only a 71. His flat rating is garbage. He definitely doesn't have a sprint or acceleration. He's almost one-dimensional, except for then you go, oh, well, he's got a 77 mountain. He's got a 75 time trial. He's got a 76 downhill. But then the drop-off. So Motoni's not a top guy. And the other guys are significantly weaker. Most of them are about a 70 to a 73. Pretty weak stuff. And when they don't have race day condition bonuses themselves, it makes it that much harder. Job not done. We really still can get something out of this race, potentially, at least some points anyway. So let's keep working. Now we're on to the Queen stage, and this one's a beast. That last stage, that really bad draw, the expected draw was a +5. Motoni had a +5 by himself. He had the best expected draw of a +3, so he did have a +2 on the day. But the overall net, I didn't count every point, but off the top of my head, I think we had about a -6. So it was about a -11 draw compared to what was expected. Today's a lot better. Much better. We do have a huge negative in Bari. He's got a -4. Musa's got a -1, but overall, gosh, we've only just hit this climb, and these two guys are already really struggling. Let's go ahead and gel up, and let's go ahead and work much harder to hold our position. Gosh, De Villiers is way back here. All 165 in the peloton. This is the steepest portion of this Allscat climb, but it does ease off. So once you get past this steepest portion, it's not going to be as bad. It's a good time to actually use that drift a bit, save that energy as you went through that phase, but you can only drift so long, and De Villiers is very much towards the back end, and he's going to start having to push much harder to try to hold position. Bari supposed to be protecting Ashimwe. He's nowhere near him right now, but we are continuing to climb and hang on. Hampton needs to gel. He's going to start fading. This peloton is definitely going to start shrinking here in a little bit. Breakaway of 9 has a 3-minute advantage. And this is just the second of 3 big mega climbs on the day. We've got 53k to go. We do need to get water one more time over the top. And Peloton begins to split, starting with our guys. 2 of the 3 that have gone out the back first are our guys. The number only increased slightly so far. And all 4 of my guys are really, really toast right now, with 6k still to go to the top. Do we have any hope today? The pace has lifted quite a bit. De Villiers is actually recovering position despite having no energy. Lucked out on that part, otherwise we would have 0 riders left. De Villiers is the one we're going to keep an eye on because he's the furthest back. He does make it over the top, still intact. 134 riders and recovery coming. De Villiers needs to get water for the team. Send him back to do that now. This descent happens very fast. Very short valley before you begin the final climb too. So how much recovery can we get, and can we get the water done before it's too late? Oh, obviously Matoni is the leader. With the time gaps we had, we've reached the bottom. So let's go ahead and protect Matoni. Let's go ahead and up the effort on these guys. And then of these 2, what are we looking at? 76, 77, 75. We've got an 81. Johannes Dalek is better placed anyway. So we'll go ahead and protect him. That stamina being the difference. Okay, Matoni is the leader. So he's the one we're going to be keeping largely an eye on. And we are already climbing. We've got 17k to go here. The attack. Lenny Martinez. Okay. Gel. We are not in... after what happened on that last stage, you've already seen that we are in no position to be attacking. This is now about survival and recovering time. So struggling to hold position a little bit. Johannes Dalek is actually a little bit better medium mountain, but Tony is definitely better here. As long as Johannes Dalek is holding that position, then we'll keep him around. Breakaway riders are coming back one by one. There's the last 3 of them just up the road. Last rider up the road now, and the Peloton's down to 67. That's including all those breakaway riders that we just reeled in, and they are definitely falling like flies here. Give me a second. Get those guys all set. Shimway, Johannes Dalek looking a little stronger. We're going to gel up for both of these 2. It's still 8k to go. Not looking pretty for our chances. Matoni's about done. What's his gap to there's a 2-minute gap to Johannes Dalek, and these guys are attacking, and there's no way to respond here. It's 10 riders going clear. Johannes Dalek to protect Matoni. That's really the only hope. We are well out the back. It's weird. It's weird to struggle like this, but it is what it is. I mean, we've got Aragave right here, 80. 77. There's an 82 in Enric Mas. More riders in the 80s here. All of them high 70s at the least. There's Hindley in 81. Fournier, Ironsman. So many riders. There's the finish line. The ride for the finish is going to come down to Carlos Rodriguez over Bermudez, Petrovic, Leknasu, Devenopol, Martinez. Big-time riders not doing particularly well. Vingegaard, Pogačar, well down the order on this one. But our situation, even worse. Sprint it out for the finish line, please. Tony was just 28th on the stage, and Shimway and Johannes Dalek were both up there with him. It's going to help their position in the standings a little bit, but it's not going to help Matoni's. He's bound to go backwards a bit after that one. Lost a little over 2 minutes today. Matoni's down to 19th, 5 minutes behind. Johannes Dalek is 26th. Shimway is 36th. Yeah, we are totally out of this race. Bermudez is into the race lead ahead of Rodriguez, Gallo, Evenepoel, and Vingegaard. Big ouch on that one. Big climbs, though, and that was just not our big climb team. So there's a couple stages left, but really there's little to do with the remainder of this race. or Settimana for that matter, as it's a minor race. We do have another classic or two that are kind of rolling up on us. So, speaking of classic season, we're back with all those sprinters at our next classics race. It's going to be a tough one. It's G3 Flanders. You need a combination. There's a lot of undulation here. So you need to be able to climb. There's a lot of cobbles here, and they're not the hardest cobbles, but they're definitely not the easiest cobbles. So you need to have a bit of a cobble rating. And then, of course, it's a flat finish. So if there's a group, by the end, you need to be able to sprint. So you need a combination, a trio. And none of our guys do 2 of 3. At best, each rider that we have does one of those 3 things. They sprint a bit. None of our sprinters are amazing. Well, Van Aert, Matthew Van Der Poel, they're here. Oh, yeah, by the way, your who's who list of the Monuments Classics season. Winners list for the last decade. Like every single one of those guys, they're here. It's not a big one for the Classics, yet all the big Classics guys are out for this race. 81k to go. So far, so good, but it's going to get ugly fairly soon. There's already a group of riders out the back. We're already starting to see a little bit of yo-yoing. It's a skinny road. It's an aggressive road. It's an aggressive pace, but nothing too bad right now. 9 riders off the front, 3-minute advantage for them. Heavy undulation period, and the race is really going to kick off kind of on the next couple of cobbled sectors. But we're hanging on so far. Anyway, without any riders that do any of those 3 things, and only riders that moderately do 1 of 3 things, this could be a really ugly day for us. But going fingers crossed. I think the guy we're really hopeful for right now, or at least the 3 guys. Let's go with the 3 guys, and let's go with the prep for the final phase and get this up to about an 87. We might need to gel up on these guys. We're only 2 stars for this one. We might hang on through it. But these are the 3 guys we're riding for. There you go. There's your 3-star one coming up here in a little bit. But we're talking about 1.5k and 3 stars. The 3 domestiques, sure enough, are down towards the end. 51k. I need to get water again. This is the time to do it. Bosco's in the best shape. Can he get the job done? We'll try. Down to 46 in the peloton, actually, so he's not going to have to drop back too far. Raise that hand, get back up there fairly quick. He might get this task done in time for us. But looking at our leaders, Daniels, he's got the sprint. He's got the race day condition, which, by the way, this is not a good draw. We were expected to have a +10 today. We got a +4 as a team, so it's -6 net. Another not so great day. Not an awful day, but definitely not so great. Daniels is looking good so far, though. All those bonuses really helping him out. But even with a +5, he's only a 65 cobble. He's only a 64 mountain. But he's got some top speed. Kareem, no longer getting... it's because Bosco is failing to finish the water task. And it's because of Kareem. Kareem, back off for a moment. There you go. Now... back on the gas. Just a couple soft pedal strokes allowed Bosco to get ahead of him. Now that also makes quite clear, though, that as we go to head into this one, these guys need to gel up. A few of them are already dropping, fading. I should have done that earlier. I was worried about Bosco in the water. Kareem has a great flat rating. A 71 for his cobble, but he's only a 60 mountain and he's no sprinter. Okay, near the top. Really up the effort, please. You can see just we're losing a ton of ground here. That could have been it right there. That could have been our race done right there. We are in a chase group. We are no longer in the peloton. We've got 20 riders chasing 16. Gap's not huge, but here comes the biggest sector in just a moment. Let's put those 3 on auto. And let's now look. Havu's the third guy. Okay flat, okay cobble, can't climb either, can't sprint either. So Daniel's, like, he's the best hope. Havu's the weakest, so let's go ahead and protect Daniel's. Let's also put this up to, like, crazy territory. Try to hang on. Last big cobbled sector right here. And a lot of ground was made up to that peloton. There's still a chance to catch. It's 38k to go. The race is far from done, but group getting dropped, unable to chase, unable to put foot down. You can see just how much ground we're losing. We're at 99 effort and uphill cobbled. For now, hanging on. 34k. Positionally, we are way down the order, though. Trying to get a little respite. There's another little hill here, not our strong suit. Are we going to make contact with that group and come together? Just about, but I think it's going to yo-yo and lose separation again. It does. But now that we're through that, okay, now we can do something. Havu, let's work. Daniels, let's follow. And then Kareem still at the front and just hanging on with that group. One more 2-star cobbled sector. Havu working hard to try to at least regain contact with that group. And then we can try to go forward as a unit. 3 guys are going to be way stronger. Daniels is going to be way stronger in a sprint. He's going to finish ahead of a lot more guys. And there you go. We've made contact through that weaker cobbled sector. And Havu gets to the front. Kareem will get in the middle. And he's got that great flat rating. So, oh, great. It's not great. A 78 is not a great flat rating, folks. It's just great for our team. That's all. Havu's done. So on to Kareem. Havu try to get onto the back end, maybe recover. And hopefully we can regain contact with some other groups. But you can see this is quickly leading to an exodus of potentially 7-8 guys. 3 are already out the back. Havu's done. Okay. Now we did leave behind more. Now it's just 6 of us, with Kareem doing a lot of the work. There's another 9 just ahead that we've nearly made contact with. It's a lot more riders up the road than I thought there were, though. Kareem at least alternating with some guys doing the work. Daniels is fine, but it's 7.5k. You've got to overtake these 18 or so in front of us if we're going to get any points today, and it just doesn't look likely. We catch 3 guys. Vanderpool, Van Aert, Pedersen for the win. Big names. Normal outcome. Daniels. You need to just put your foot down and go. Kareem, just sprint however it is that... Oh, shoot. I was saying sprint for Kareem. I sprinted for Daniels. More than a K out, but he really had to just kind of give his all and overtake a handful of guys on the way to the finish line for that. And this is still a battle for a top 20. He's not going to get top 20, but he will get top 25, overtaking those guys at the end there. 24th. It is worth some points. I'll be honest, I don't think I was going to compete for a top 25. I was laying out a pretty bad scenario. Ugly, as expected, but positionally not as bad. I kind of thought we might be outside of the top 50. So hey, I'll take it. Can't always have success. Can't always put yourself in the Milano Sanremo type position where we can score a lot of points. We're not built for all aspects, all profiles that we'll face yet, and that's part of the challenge of this. Is we have to you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. No fit here, but I think I'm pretty okay, pretty happy with the top 25 under the circumstances. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.